see in your background India. I'm curious about how you think about India and Modi. I mean, there's clearly a huge amount of success in the U.S. with Indian-born CEOs, startup entrepreneurs, and India is very much coming on the radar too as a competitor and an ally to the U.S. How do you think about it from your business standpoint, Charlie?
Yeah, well, India we have a major facility in Bangalore in India. Our major facilities are west coast of the U.S., Bangalore in India, and Prague in the Czech Republic in Europe. The way we think about, I think, all of these environments is that they contribute strongly to Pure's success. The way I think about India is it's a developing economy. If you're a developing economy, working with the West, working with the U.S. is completely in your own national interest. When you start to become on the same par, when you become a developed nation, then there's that whole issue of coopetition, right? Mm-hmm. On the one hand, you want to cooperate. On the other hand, you're going to have competitive interests. I think we have to keep it at the competitive level and not at the antagonistic
I think that's
level.
fair.
About identifying enemies. I think we're more competitors than enemies.
One of the things that's interesting in your role as a global CEO is that ability to connect the dots. And you've mentioned, Web 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. There's a real curiosity, I think, as to where are we at this stage of innovation and stage of the economy. And let's talk about, the innovation. There's been, on the one hand, a lot of euphoria about this next wave of innovation made possible through things like generative AI. And yet, some trepidation as to our ability to really maximize. And that, what are you seeing, given your perspective? Do you feel like this is a stage of incredible growth that we're entering, or something else?
You may remember, I think it was only 10 years ago, where a number of economists were saying, we're not seeing this high-tech dividend that everybody promised. That's going to make life easier, that's going to reduce the cost of doing business and so forth. I think we're starting to see that high-tech dividend, and Gen AI is another area, or ChatGPT, another area where it will reduce the overall complexity of businesses, enhance our productivity as a nation. I might mention one other thing. I do remember an interview once with Alan Greenspan, and he said that early in his career he had studied the development of productivity over 100 years, and specifically American productivity. And he goes, productivity is what eventually leads to a better lifestyle. It's what leads to wealth. And he goes, no matter what 20-year period he studied, productivity only grew at 2% a year. And he said he questioned this for years and asked himself why. And he said he finally came up with the answer. He goes, we're just not that smart. Meaning be able to grow faster than 2%. So what I think technology is doing, and in particular what this latest advance in ChatGPT will do, is allow us to continue to operate, to grow productivity, at a good rate, at 2%.
2%? Are you in the 2% Alan Greenspan school?
Well, I'm a student of history. I would hope that we're better than that, but these long-term curves have a habit of staying, on a straight line. So 2% or better, but I think we're going to see some benefit of that. And I think we're going to see some, you can be better than 2% for a number of years. I'm thinking we're going to get there.
I'm thinking that you're better than 2%. That's a great tagline. Let me go to the economy now, because again, you are on the front lines. Your customers are very much reflective of the challenges and the opportunities. What are you seeing in the U.S. and beyond? I think there's a lot of uncertainty.
There's a fair amount of uncertainty, and what I'm seeing is a bit of a pause, not a panic, not a full recession. We know what those look like. I've gone through, unfortunately, a few too many of those in my career. But a bit of a pause. But I'm actually very optimistic. I expect the economy to pick up next year and the year after that. the resilience that we've already seen has been in the face of high inflation, the resilience in spite of the pandemic. And I think this might be part of, in fact, the high tech dividend, right? That despite, unparalleled um, uh, uh, retreats of some or disadvantages, the pandemic, the high inflation that was caused by that, major war in Europe. And despite that, we're still growing. So that to me says there's a lot of resiliency in our economy right now. And I think we're going to see that come back.
Okay.